Well, hello there. How you doing? Welcome to Insuring Your Well-Being. I am Dennis James, the biking, dancing insurance man, and welcome. We're going to have as always, interesting podcast. I've been focused on wellness here last month, and if you go back before those, it was pretty much all about insurance or crisis planning, that type of thing. But I really am big into talking about, how you can keep yourself healthy. And no matter what stage of life you're at, you just have to believe and you have to take the action. All right. So, just real quick, I've been in the insurance business like over 20 plus years. And before that, I always was around ballroom dancing. And before that, martial arts, right? So I'm going to be talking about karate, how to throw a full reverse punch, and also some different boxing techniques. And the reason I am going to do that is because of the benefits of it. All right. I mean, I know for sure all the great things it has done for me. And it's a great discipline. And I don't care what age you are, you should at least try it. There's something good about having some confidence in life, or just getting a good workout, and you can do that with what I'm going to share with you. And when I do get to the video, if you wanted to practice that and do it right along with what I'm talking about, that's not a bad way to do it. All right, but let's talk about the benefits of any kind of martial arts. All right, in my case, I got involved in Japanese Shooto. All right, and that was 50 hands, 50 feet. It was controlled technique. All right, and the benefits of it, the physical benefits, you develop strength and power when you start doing punching. All right, when you start doing any kind of punching, you're going to develop body strength, and you're going to get your shoulders stronger, your arms stronger. What's most important, and you'll learn that in the video, is everything is technique, all right? So you have to start slow and develop the technique. So I will be talking about the technique, all right? But wherever you go, it's not how fast you can go from one belt to another or how quick you can. It's about learning the basics. It's kind of like riding the bike, right? Once you learn how to ride that bike, you'll never forget. It goes the same thing here. All right. The other thing is speed and coordination. All right. It does a lot of that. When you're drilling things, it gives you great hand-eye coordination, and things become really natural with reaction times and muscle tone. All right. Muscle memory is kind of like what I just mentioned. All right. It automatic, right? It becomes automatic, and that's one of the cool things. And I see how it works hand in hand with everything else I've done, right? So with my background in martial arts, when I went into dance, a lot of that made it easier, and vice versa. Endurance, stamina. You'll watch a lot of boxers. They'll be shadow boxing, all right, and they'll be going through different drills for fitness, muscular endurance, and that's what it'll do. I believe as you work on technique, so let's just say you do it for a half hour. All right, you should make that first 20 minutes of really working on technique, and then the other 10 minutes you want to like drill it, right? You want to get the cardio up, get your heartbeat up, and so if you do an hour, it's the same thing. Get with somebody you want to do it with. Go join a class, or start taking some lessons. Balance, stability, punching techniques, strong footwork. It gives you good core engagement and stability. For sure, when you start doing the right technique, you're going to develop good balance and control. It's interesting when I'm on the video, I talk a lot about self-control and balance and control, and it's so true. I mean, that's exactly what it does. The other thing is the mental, cognitive benefits of it. All right, the focus, the concentration, right? After you start getting the technique, you learn the technique, and then you want to start getting disciplined and focused. It's like if you're going to be hitting the bag or whatever you're hitting, you're going to kind of like, right? You're going to stay relaxed and you're going to go through it. It's like, boom, you're going to like go through it, right? Boom. Um, right? So I'm not just hitting the bag, I'm going through the bag, or I'm going through whatever I plan on hitting. And so that would be an important thing, right? It's mental clarity, quick decision making, discipline, patience. All right, that's the biggest thing. Is it takes persistence and self control, right? You want to learn to control everything, and discipline, self control is once you really learn it, right? You don't have to cause trouble. It's not meant to go out and cause trouble or start fights or any of that. The blessing is you can use it when necessary. And it's worked good in my life. Let's just put it that way. You mess with the wrong people, that can be a problem. Stress relief, it's a wonderful thing. Sometimes we all need that, right? A good day's work or whatever, and then you want to, start hitting on a heavy bag or doing combinations. You're going to watch that stress and tension just kind of dissipate. And what's really important is anytime you do anything, you want to like be very relaxed. You got to constantly work on relaxing to a point of contact. All right. Practice self-defense benefits. It gives you self-protection. I've always loved that. But it equips you with fundamental self skills. All right, and situation awareness, right? That's what martial arts karate does for you. Boxing, I think all those are just so cool and just fun, and you can learn from everybody. The confidence, the more you do it, the better you get, and the more confident you will develop. And we know that no matter who you are, what you are, right? It's the consistency over time that really will make a difference for you. Myself, honestly, I started it at age 15. Let's just say that after many, 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 many years, I still can do it. I probably am not as quick or as flexible, but I'm pretty proud what I can do, and that's because of all the over the period of time of consistency. It comes back, and that's an amen for that. The other thing is martial arts specifics. When you look at different places like boxing, I think boxing is amazing because it teaches you quick reflexes, precision, endurance, right? You have to do all that when you're shadow boxing. You watch boxers, right? They're shadow boxing. A big thing I just thought of right now is jumping rope. Jumping rope is probably one of the best endurance things you can ever do. Not only for coordination, which is phenomenal, right? You can get really good at it. So that's the big thing with that. Karate is more striking, and ours was 50 hands, 50 feet type thing. And I told you, and I talk a little bit about Shudo rule. It was 50 hands, 50 feet, and it was controlled contact. All right, and it went through white, black stripe, purple, white stripe, green, blue, 3 degrees of brown, and then black. And there was different uh, degrees you could get in black belt. Myself, I personally, after I got my black belt, I really started getting into kickboxing. Right, changing all my stance around. I'm a southpaw, so I started learning how to box. Right, and that really come hand in hand when I did start doing some kickboxing, and I did that with Kerry Roop, and then I went out to Florida, West Palm, and I trained with a guy named Steve Shepard, and And then from there, life changed for me. That's where I kind of really started getting into dance, and there's a long story or history about that. But even through the years, I still kept up with my martial arts. Once you have it, you can do it. One of the things with Shudo Rule, you're going to learn, you'll see how I talk about stances. And then there's what they call wazes, and that's still going into like a ready stance 5, and then doing like block, punch, short, and then katas are long, right? It's going through 20, 30 different moves, and you work on relaxing and going through the movements, making sure you're doing great techniques. And then there's combinations, right? All your punches, front kick, side kick, back kick. In ours, it was called a front kick was a Mai Gary, side kick was a Yoko Gary, and then the back kick was a Yushiro Gary, Mawashi was a roundhouse. Those were the kicks, and then they had crescent kicks and other different hand strikes that I didn't even get into. But all that's really good stuff, but you always have to, rep things. And then Kung Fu is a different type of thing, right? That's more flowing and fluid and that. And I think that's really a cool thing. Thai boxing, cage fighting, all those are phenomenal. I personally love it. I probably wouldn't be doing all that today, but I think it's really, really good to, if that's what you're into, especially when you're younger. It's like boxing. It's a great sport for the right individual. All right, now we're gonna watch this video. It's an instructional video, so let's enjoy that. How you doing? This is Dennis James, the biking, dance, and insurance man, that is going to talk to you about martial arts, okay? And one of the things when it comes, I'm going to demonstrate really throwing punches, all right? Now, here's the thing. One of the best things that ever can happen is when you're in martial arts, number one, it really works on balance and self-control. And not only that, it gives you confidence. I remember I was signed up in karate at age 15, and I think it was a great discipline for me, right, at that time in my life. But anyhow, whenever you throw a punch, when you make a fist, what you do is you take your fingers, you curl them, and then from there you lock it, and you put the thumb in there just like that. You see how that is? Everything is solid. Now, whenever you throw a punch, you always strike with the first 2 knuckles. All right, so I would take my fingers, I would curl them, and then I'd lock that in, just like so. And then this here is pretty straight. I'm not going to have it turned any different way. And whenever you're going to be throwing a punch, you're always striking with the first 2 knuckles. Now, one of the things is stance, right? So I think a good way to learn is from what we would call, once you get that in like that, right? You're correct. And then from there, this is called a attention stance. From there, you just step out. Remember, I talk about how important it is balance and control, no matter where you're at. With balance and control. Knees are always relaxed. All right, if you see how I am right here, hands are in. I'm getting ahead of it. I was going to talk to you about throwing that punch. So what happens is you're going to turn the feet in like so, and then your knees are going to be bent, and you're going to be self-control. You can feel the control I have here. Whenever you throw a punch, you strike with the first 2 knuckles, like I said, and you're going to learn what we call a push-pull. Okay? Push-pull. As my right is coming out, my left comes back. And everything
is in the hips. All your power comes through here. So when you have a good stance, you're what they call a horse position. Strike, strike. All right, you notice how I'm not bending or anything? You don't ever want to have your thumb like this or tucked in, you'll break your thumb. And then from there, you rep. Going to the solar plex, and then you can work on going high, head, solar plex, groin. This is just good control. Head, solar plex, groin. Okay? So that is throwing a full reverse punch. And then once you really get that down, then what you want to do, you would want to get in front of a bag like this and get in that position and just, boom, strike with the knuckles, right? I'm going to be here. I'm going to get in this position, pull them hands back, strike, 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 strike. Now that can hurt a little bit. There you have what they have regular bag gloves you should have. That way, you know, you're going to protect your knuckles. I don't think you need to screw them up. You know, some people train like that. You know, it's all personal choice. I like my body the way it is. It's all about technique, right? And then once you start using gloves like this, then you use wraps. Now these are more boxing gloves here. All right, they're not really set up for. I mean, you use them for the bag, but they got to have regular bag gloves. So, and normally you would put wraps on also. Okay, but whenever you're doing something like this, just kind of like I was telling you, you're just going to work on striking, striking. You can use the push-pull, pull, push, pull. Then you can be here, you can tool, right? Tool, push, pull, push, pull. Okay, and then you can also start working what we call high, middle, low. All right, where I talk to you about head. Right, you're going head, solar plex, groin. Head, solar plex, groin. And then you can, and it's coordination, right? It's being here, head, solar plex, groin. Head, solar plex, groin. You notice how I'm keeping my balance? It's because my knees are really bent. And then what ends up happening as you do this enough, you can even pull the hands up. What do boxers do? They protect their body, right? So would a regular fighter, right? So from here, like I'm a southpaw, so I would always use my jab and cross. Jab, cross. Jab, cross. That's a great practice. Jab, cross. Notice how everything comes back? Here, I'm protecting my body. So it's jab, and then from here, boom. I get my hips into it, boom. Pivot. Jab, cross. I can come across with a hook, right? Jab, cross, hook. Always protecting. So here, what? See how this hand comes back? Protecting my face. Then from here, it comes across. I'm not telegraphing. Then I pivot into it. Then from here, I'm set up to do an uppercut. Boom! Sa! All right, so look. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. When you have those down, that's what you want to learn to get good at, is self-control. Everything is technique. So what knuckles you strike with? The first two, right? You learn with the push-pull. Push-pull. Think of your hips. Make sure you're in a good horse stance. In Japanese Shooter-Ryu, that's the style I learned. It's called a ready stance too. They pretty much, in all the different styles of karate, that's what they would call that. So, you could get on the bag, okay? So if you're right-handed, you'd be jabbing with the left, come across with your cross, and then from here, right here, you go into the, with a hook, then you come through with the uppercut. So watch, jab, cross, hook, uppercut. All right, now, could always practice it both ways, right? So I'm on the southpaw, lefty, I jab, cross, uppercut, hook, uppercut. So look, jab, cross, hook, up. Now I want to think of everything coming back. You notice where I'm at in the bag? So those are things you want to work on. And the more you do that, I would always think of working self-control, right? Once you have good balance, self-control, get discipline, turn it into a workout, start jumping rope, and maybe get with a partner, go to a good martial art place that you could take a lesson, maybe one free lesson or 1 week. Then if you find you like it, then step into it and do it. What I would say for me, right, it's a confidence thing and it's a conditioning. Great things to do. You want to stay in shape, get into martial arts. Any questions? I'm the bike and dance and insurance man, actually a black belt. Trained a lot of years and a martial, did some kickboxing, so kind of got it down for sure. And what you do is once you learn it, you never forget it. And I could be reached at 586-808-4378. Again, Dennis James, the bike and dance and insurance man. Make it happen.
All right. I hope that helped you. That was just some basic instruction. What I taught you right there is very, it's the basic, right? When you get that, what I call ready stance 2, horse stance, that pretty much is really taught in all the different styles of karate. That's kind of like where the beginning is. And same thing with the hand technique, making sure you strike with the first 2 knuckles. The best thing I would suggest is go find a place where you can take some basics. Go to a martial arts, check it out, find out what's going to work. Find something local and just start. When I shared with you that, you could I want you to consider always working technique, but always close out with getting your heart beat up. All right, break a sweat, make it happen. After you learn these basic punches like that, I would, especially when it comes to the karate side of it, learn some basic kicks, like a front kick, right, or a side kick, back kick. If you're starting to get into more, higher things, Muashi, roundhouse. All those are all kind of help when you start repping kicks. That in itself becomes a workout, right? But if you're a married person, you have kids, I think it's a great thing to get your kids into. As far as ages, I know they take them all ages. I think it's a great thing for a parent to do together, for sure. A father-son or a mother-daughter, or how about the whole family? I think it's good for all girls to know self-defense. There's a lot of different techniques you can learn. I think when I shared with you the boxing techniques, those are really good. But you also want to learn, right, if somebody were to grab you or try choking you, that type of thing. There's just simple ways of getting out of that, right? First of all, when somebody grabs you, their hands are right. You can really. It's stupid to grab somebody. Just take your hands and clap take their ears or go right into their throat with this. Boom. Right? Rip. Nah. So, anyhow, I'm not going to get into much more. I left you my information. My vision for you is to try it out, right? Try it. You'll like it. And if it's not martial art, maybe you'd like kung fu, right? I think that's really a nice another thing. Taekwondo is a good style. Depending where you're at, there's a lot of great studios around. And make sure you're, getting with somebody that has a good background in karate. Ask them where they came from, but do your homework and know what that person's background is, right? When it comes to boxing or martial arts, karate, judo. All right. With that being said, I want you to go out and get your heartbeat up. I know I'm going to go for a bike ride with my wife. I'm sure we're going to go for about an hour, and I am looking forward to doing that next. But in the meantime, make it a great day and wish you many blessings, all right, with good health and prosperity. God bless.